Hi guys, welcome to Kashyap. So today I'm going to talk about the COVID-19 parameters. Three major parameters basically. One is research, other one is education, and the final one I would like to talk about the global food shortage. Talking about research, I know in India even the grade in 2018-2019 budget it has been raised, but the overall spending on science is less than 1%, that is approximately less than even 0.8%, and the number of staffs taken including to a scientific community or a faculty position or any research graded community is very less when we look at the Indian population. I think that has to substantially rise, so the funding into research and science has to increase. I know we spend a lot on our defense, but still I would prefer we should be able to have a couple between the research centers and the universities and even colleges for that matter, in order to upgrade our research facilities, because if we have more access to more people, I think more important work can come out of it, and this will also help us fight the pandemics like coronavirus, which is currently running on. So I think research has to be taken to a very next level and upgraded level. More funding has to be done, and the universities and the colleges has to tie up with the research center. There has to be a common diplomatic way of handling and combining these things. There has to be a couple between the university and the research center, which is totally going in two different directions. You don't see much universities, only a handful of universities go to research centers and make their PhD scholars work under them and all those things, but most of the research is not happening at a very big level because there is no proper couple between the research center and a university and a college. So there has to be a common dialogue where these things can be sorted out. I think there has to be a center which can make sure there is a coupling agent acting between these three components, and we have to make sure our future generation knows how to go about it. Like we can't I know the number of positions given, because of the being low budget, the number of positions are low and the competition is very high, and most of the people end up going abroad, and that's where we lose our human resources, and this will be a very keen thing to look into in a very substantial way. I think it has to be taken in a very serious manner to deal with it, so that we can fight these kind of pandemics in a very systematic way, where our centers can, I know they are doing a wonderful job right now, but they can do still more with more manpower. So that's my concern regarding research with respect to COVID-19. This is what I thought should be shared upon and thought about. And coming to the next point is education. So you know, the education, the MOOC programs are going on, and lot of online courses are going on right now, but most of the problems are with respect to the promotional grade exams, which are basically like the 10th grade exam in India, where that is to used to go to the college, where you have a public exam and you pass and go to the next level, next PU level, or that's called a pre-university. That's the entrance exam to the colleges, and you have a second PU exam where you get into degree programs and much more higher engineering and medical programs. But because of this pause, the exams are postponed, and if the lockdown continues, what are the big challenges that's going to be in? All the admission procedure will be slowed down, so the colleges won't get fees to pay their faculties. Again, this will create some kind of friction between, like a wave. It's like a ripple. I know it's not a pretty thing to happen to anybody, and once this happens, and people might have difficulties dealing with it. So the best way to look at it is the education has to be made in a way where even a crisis like this occurs, I think there has to be a systematic online procedure to even make exams happen with these kind of things. So I think, I know many of the advanced universities have these facilities to give their own exams online, and most of the online courses do give their exams online, but this is not possible at the domestic level. So in order to do this, the education sector has to get enough funding, and this has to be upgraded, and this can be upgraded really fast if everybody, if the orders are posed in a very positive manner, and these essentials are taken in proper perspectives. This can be handled in a very smooth and easy manner. So if this is taken care, I think education will be easier in the future, and we can do things even by sitting at home. A lot of things can be done, and as I said from the beginning, the research between education and research has to go in hand, and this has to be in a systematic matter, especially in sciences. Coming to the food, so this could be a socio-economic problem, and food has become a global shortage right now with the pandemic. I know it has not happened in many places, but it is starting to show some glimpses where food shortages are becoming an issue. If it goes to a larger scale in future months, it will be a very serious socio-economic crisis. In order to not have this kind of problems in the future, I think urban farming has to come up. I know urban farming is very new, and I know many people are working and researching on this particular platform like hydroponics, aquaponics, and many other urban farming technologies, but I think this has to be funded, and it has to be shown in the right direction, and I think urban farmers has to be the next people who are feeding the urban population, because the urban population is very high. I know the farmers in the villages has to be paid well. I know if a crisis occurs, this has to be our backup. There has to be a procedure to feed our urban population, especially in cities. If there is a if there is a transportation problem from the farmer side, there has to be a backup, because because the population in the urban cities is not a small one, it's a very large one, so it has to be taken into account very seriously in the upcoming era. So as the population increases, I know even Elon Musk's brother is working on huge trucks where they are planning on growing microgreens in the huge trucks, but still it has to be done in a very massive scale. In many places, not just in US, it has to be done in many places, and the farmers has to be shown in and because the reason I'm showing concern about urban farming is many of the farmers, even I see in my own country, many of the farmers do not want their children to be a farmer. They want to go to the cities and find their own jobs and get into different fields. So not many people are getting into farming, and this has to be addressed in a very sensitive and in a very proper and a sensible way, where the farmers are taken care and the urban farming also starts along with it. So this has to be there has to be a coupling agent which works, and there has to be a justice done to both farmers in rural and the urban areas, and also especially in villages people have to be taken into proper sectors. So this has to have a proper channelized way. The markets has to be very transparent, and people should know where to inquire about this. There has to be a helpline center, there has to be a food control helpline. I know there is a agricultural there is something called as war kind of footing that's going on, especially in my state in Karnataka, where agricultural war room has been set up to make sure the produces reaches the customers in the urban city. So it has to be taken very seriously, because if the trading and the transportation becomes difficult in the future and the population growing at such rapid rate, I think urban farming is our future way of growing food. I think I have made my three big concerns: research, education, and food crisis. Because of this COVID-19, I thought I had to share this, because looking at this procedure, we always think humans are invincible. We are not invincible, and many of you know it. It's not a new invention or a new statement I'm making. It's just we have to be prepared for everything in the future. So I know this, we were not prepared for this, and the mankind is paying a big I don't have a proper word to describe or a proper adjective to describe how bad it is. So it is going in a very bad manner, so we have to look into it very seriously. I hope you like this, and if you want to discuss about these things, you can comment below this video, and if you like it, you can like it. So see you until next time. Thank you.